All right, we are back again with video number 2 of our Tarkir Dragonstorm giveaway. Man, this one is a good one. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but the Mardu Surge Precon is so good. I'm super excited about this one, so we won't take super long to get into it. Before we do, though, if you want to enter to win this deck, all you got to do is like the video, comment on the video, something about the upgrade, whether we missed an obvious card or something that you would put in or something you would take out or something you disagree with or something that you really like that we did with this deck. Just something thoughtful down in the comments. And then be sure you are subscribed to the channel. That helps us grow. And if you're feeling froggy, hit the notification bell. We are giving away the rest of these decks, so in the future we will have more videos coming out over the next week. All of those will have giveaways tied to them too, so you could potentially win more than one. It's not restricted. And also, if you haven't checked it out yet, we also did our Jeskai video yesterday, so if you want to try to win that deck, we'll have the link at the end of the video. Big shout out to Nerd Gear Gaming. Thank you guys so much for being our forever sponsor. Is Nerd Gear Gaming with innovative original new products like the Playmat Sanctuary and the Commander Essentials Kit. Nerd Gear is for nerds by nerds. A newer company, they've had massively successful Kickstarter campaigns along with a #1 new release on Amazon. They've got lots of 5-star reviews, and the products speak for themselves, like life counters, dry erase tokens, spin downs, and various other products. Check out their website for some sweet deals, including an extra 5% off when you use our code SOUTHERN at checkout. And yes, that discount does stack with whatever other promotions they're running. You can also find them on Amazon with Prime shipping. Just search Nerd Gear or use the links in the description. So check out nerdgear.gg. Go check out some of their stuff, guys. We've got that awesome discount code stacks with any other discounts they're already doing, which is really nice. The Playmat Sanctuary is amazing. With no further ado, let's check out the face commander and the backup commander of this deck, just so we kind of know what we're getting into and what the deck wants to do. Okay, so Zergo Stormrender is the face commander that comes with this deck. He costs Mardu to cast. Mardu just means red, white, black color combination. It's just a cool slang word for that. Originated here in Tarkir, though, for these factions or these houses or whatever you want to kind of refer to them as. They each have a different color identity and they each kind of do something unique. This is an Orc Warrior, a 3/3, and has Mobilize 1. So Mobilize is a mechanic that says whenever this creature attacks, make a tapped and attacking 1/1 red warrior creature token. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. So Mobilize. It could be Mobilize 2, could be Mobilize 3, but this one is Mobilize 1. Whenever a creature token you control leaves the battlefield, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, each opponent loses 1 life. So this sets up the deck really, really well to give us a good token aristocrats theme. Aristocrats just means creating tokens and sacrificing them for payoffs, or sacrificing other creatures for payoffs as well. It doesn't have to just be tokens, but payoffs for creatures coming in, payoffs for creatures mostly leaving is what aristocrats specifically refers to as a deck archetype. And then the backup commander is actually a really good backup commander. Shout out to Wizards. This deck is really good. Narev Crackling Vanguard 2 and Mardu. So again, Mardu. Red, white, black. For a Spirit Dragon is a 4/4 with flying and death touch, and it says when it enters, you make 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. So both our commanders make tokens, which is great. Whenever Narev attacks, exile a number of cards from the top of your library equal to the number of differently named tokens you control. So that's interesting and notable. During any turn you attacked with a commander, you can play these cards. So it will exile those cards and you get access to them as the game goes on via your commander. Anytime you attack, you can play those cards. So if you've got some land sitting there and you're going to miss a land drop, that's really nice. While it doesn't say draw a card, exiling cards and then being able to play them on any turn moving forward is card advantage. So both the commanders make tokens. Both of the commanders give us card advantage. One gives us card draw and one lets us play spells from exile. Notably, play is important because if it said cast, then you wouldn't be able to play lands because you do not cast lands. But since it says play, we can access the land. So that's really, really good. You don't often see two commanders that do the same thing together really, really well. A lot of the time, the backup commander wants to do kind of its own thing or have its own build. These two are very good. You could probably run either of them as the commander of this deck right out of the box. We'll get to a little bit more of the strategy here in just a minute. But yeah, those are the two commanders that Wizards has given us. Again, great job. Chef's kiss. This is going to be a blast, you guys. I didn't have to do a ton of work on this one. The lines of what the deck wants to do are really, really evident Again, we're doing aristocrats. We want to make tokens. A lot of these tokens sacrifice themselves. We want to give ourselves other ways to sacrifice things, and we want to pay that off with card draw, with ramp, with punishing our opponents, making treasures, so making more tokens. Lots and lots of synergy already in the deck. You guys can jump over to our deck review if you want to see a full breakdown of the whole deck. That'll include all the new cards that came out and all of the reprints. We're not going to go over all of that here just now. We're just going to kind of go over a little bit of the highlights of the deck, and then we're just going to move into the additions and the subtractions. So this deck came with a lot of really great stuff in it. Notably, there are a ton of ways to make tokens besides just our commander. We've got things like Blade of Selves that are going to make tokens that go away at the end, so that's going to give us more fodder. We've got things like Divine Visitation that are going to take our existing tokens and turn those into 4/4 angels instead, so that's potentially a win con. We've got something like Grand Crescendo, which is an X spell, X white white. Make that many green and white citizen tokens, and then creatures you control gain indestructible until the end of turn. So we're going to make a whole bunch of creatures potentially, and then everything will have some protection also until the end of turn. There's a lot of really good stuff like that in here. Tempt with Vengeance is a fun one. I think that one's fun because they've got the Tempt cards, the green one that ramps you. We've got Tempt with Bunnies that makes tokens. This one also makes tokens. Tempt with Bunnies might be a good add in here too. Twilight Drover, you can pay to remove counters and make flyers. Having some flyers is really nice. Thalisi makes tokens. So there's a lot of really good ways to make tokens in here. The one thing that I will say that this deck struggled with coming right out of the box was card draw. There were 7 cards that drew cards, including your commander. That's just not nearly enough, in my opinion, for a commander deck. Drawing cards is probably the single most powerful thing you can actually do in a deck. And I know that drawing cards doesn't seem super splashy or fun or glamorous, but I promise you this will win you games. If your deck is not doing what you designed it to do, chances are you probably aren't either running enough mana or you're not running enough card draw. Those are the two huge things. And that segues into the other thing. This deck only had 6 ramp spells, so that included 4 or 5 mana rocks, a sad robot, and a Wayfarer's Bauble. So there just wasn't nearly enough. So those are some areas that we addressed. And so with no further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our additions and our subtractions. One last time, please like and subscribe before we jump into the adds and subtractions. It helps our channel so much. We're a smaller channel and we are growing fast, but you can always help us grow a little faster. We really appreciate it. Again, ring the notification bell if you're interested in the upcoming decks. We have 3 more of the Precon upgrade videos to do, and we'll be covering a bunch of other stuff, as well as some live gameplay with these decks and their upgraded versions as well. That'll be coming out next week. We'll have some early looks at the cards themselves. We have some boxes already. Thank you, Wizards, for having us be ambassadors for this set. So we have some product that we're going to do some box break videos too. So you'll be able to get a sneak peek at all of those cards in real life. That should be towards the end of next week or so. All right, adds and subtractions. Let's go over what we took out real quick. There were some hard choices to make. Again, with there not being enough ramp and card draw, we did have to remove some of the stuff that was in there that was really good. But again, if you can't draw into it, you're never going to win games. So first we took out Aaron Benelia's Ruin. This was white, white, and a black for a Phyrexian human with Menace, and then you could pay a white and a black, tap it, sacrifice another creature, and put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. This just didn't make the cut because it's an ability that you have to pay into, and we decided to add some stuff that's going to take its place. We also got rid of Beetleback Chief. This is a 4-drop for a 2/2 that enters, and you put 2 red goblin creatures on the battlefield. 4 mana is just a little too expensive for 2 tokens. Next, we got rid of Commander's Insignia. This is 2 white, white for an enchantment that says creatures you control get +1/+1 for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. This is a good card, and maybe if we were running the dragon as the commander and people were a little more scared of it, we don't have a way to get our commander in and out of the command zone easily, so this card just sort of felt out of place. Next, we're getting rid of Eliminate the Competition. This was 4 and a black, so 5 total mana, and as an additional cost, to eliminate the competition, sacrifice X creatures, and then you destroy X target creatures, which we're fine with losing creatures. However, it being 5 mana is just too much for a board wipe with this kind of condition. If we want to get rid of the board, we could just get rid of the board. Next, we got rid of a really good reprint. This is Gix, Yawgmoth Praetor, a good card, but whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life, and if they do, they draw a card. Then you can pay 4 and 3 black, so a total of 7, to discard X cards and exile the top X cards of target opponent's library. You can play lands and cast spells from among them without paying their mana cost. That could be a game finisher. There's a reason that it's a really good card. However, it doesn't really synergize with what we're doing, and with as little card draw as was in the deck, I'm surprised that a discard-centric mechanic to close out would be in here. Again, fantastic reprint. Glad it's here, but doesn't synergize super well, and it's also 3 to get it out, and then another 7 to do the thing. So just, again, we've got more efficient, better stuff that synergizes with what we're trying to do. We also are getting rid of Grenzo, Havoc Razor. This is 2 red. When a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you can choose to go to target creature that player controls or exile the top card of that player's library. And then until the end of turn, you can cast that card and spend mana or mana of any color to cast that spell. Grenzo just felt a little out of place as well, just doesn't synergize as well as some other stuff. We also decided to get rid of Hour of Reckoning. That is the board wipe for 4 and 3 white that says Convoke, so you can tap creatures. Each creature you tap pays for 1 mana of the spell, and then you destroy all non-token creatures. And while this is a token-centric deck, we don't care about keeping our tokens. So spot removal is going to probably be a better option here as opposed to a board wipe. Next, we are getting rid of our Planeswalker. This is Kaya, Geist Hunter, for 1 black white. This was a hard cut to make, and it did kind of come down to the end because of the -2 there that she has until the end of turn. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. So you get the effect of a token doubler, but you only get it once a turn, and only if you do a -2, and she only comes in with 3 loyalty, so it's not going to be very consistent that you're going to be able to do the token doubling, and we really only have a couple of spells that can make a lot of tokens, and then this would pay off, you know, that one big spell. So for that reason, she got cut as well. We also got rid of Mere Battlesphere. This is a 7-drop. You're almost just never going to cast it. If it's in your opening hand, you're going to be pissed. So when it enters the battlefield, make 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. So it does make 4 tokens, which is great, but again, it costs 7. And then whenever it attacks, you can tap X untapped mirror you control, and if you do it, the Battlesphere gets +X+ until the end of turn and deals X damage to the player or Planeswalker it's attacking. So if you can get it up and get it online, it's good, but we just don't make a lot of other mirror, if any, in this deck, so that's why this one got the axe. We also got rid of Ogre Battle Driver. This was 2 red for an Ogre Warrior. Whenever another creature enters a battlefield under your control, that creature gets +2/+0 and gains haste until the end of turn. Again, has synergy with the deck. It's just a 4-drop creature that doesn't draw cards and doesn't make tokens, and then it does pay off some of it, but there are just cards that do it a little bit better, and we had to make room for some more card draw and some more spot removal as well. I didn't even talk about that earlier, but this deck was also pretty low on interaction. Then we release the dogs. This is a sorcery for 3 and a white to make 4 1/1 dog creature tokens. Again, this is more in here if you were going to be running the dragon as your commander. I think Mere Battlesphere is probably the same way, but where the payoff is for the different kinds of tokens you have. So there's not a lot of a singular type of token, and several of these cards make specific tokens that we don't make anything else of that, you know, dogs or mirrors or whatever. So that's kind of, I think, was in there for that. So that's kind of why we cut it. Also, 4 mana for 4 tokens is pretty good, but we have ways to make more repeatable tokens. Next, we have Shadow Summoning. This is another victim of this, is the same thing, which is white-black for a sorcery that makes 2 tapped white spirit tokens. I just don't want to make tap tokens. If they're going to come in, we want them to be able to attack right away or at least be blockers. This gives us neither. Next, we got Sun Titan. Sun Titan can be really good in a deck that wants it. This is 4 white, and when it enters or attacks, you can return a target permanent card. That's really good. Permanent card from your graveyard with converted mana cost 3 or less, and it goes straight back to the battlefield. So Sun Titan can be really good, but again, it needs to be in the decks that want it. Not that this one wouldn't use it, but we're upgrading it. So, and then the last couple of things we got rid of first were the 2 temple lands that were here. They enter tapped, and then you scry 1. I just hate tapped lands, as I spoke about before in the last video. And then our last cut was Wayfarer's Bauble. Wayfarer's Bauble is an artifact that you pay 1, it enters the battlefield, and then you have to pay 2 and tap it and sack it. Then you can search your library for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle your library. Wayfarer's Bauble, in my honest opinion, is just hot garbage. It could mana fix you in a pinch, but you've got to pay 1 to get it out. You've got to then pay 2 to sack it, and then the land you finally get to go get comes in tapped. So it's just not very good ramp, in my humble opinion. All right, that concludes all the cards that we cut. So now it's the time you're the most excited for now, and this is what we've added to the deck to hopefully make things a little more smooth, a little more synergistic. Okay, so first up, let's check out the creatures we added. First, we have Caesar, Legion's Emperor. Caesar is from the Fallout Commander decks 1 and Mardu. To cast him for a 4/4 human soldier, whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, choose 2. So he has 3 modes. You get to choose 2 of those. First one is create 2 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking. The second one is you draw a card and you lose a life. And the third one is Caesar deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens you control to a target opponent. So Caesar is going to come in for 4, replacing one of the 4 drops we got rid of, and he's going to make tokens and draw us cards. So the value there, way better than what we had in our cut pile over there. Next, we are adding Corpse Knight. This is a white-black zombie knight. Whenever another creature you control enters, each opponent loses a life. So with all this repeatable token generation that we're going to have coming off our commander, each opponent is going to lose a life every time, and then any other creatures that come in as well. This is going to pay that off really, really well versus some of the other things we had. Next, we also have Cruel Celebrant, also white-black for a vampire. When Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain a life. There are several other effects that say target player loses 1 life, like Blood Artist, but we decided to try to go with the ones that ping each of our opponents. That way we're getting a little bit better of a payoff. Next, we added from the D&D set Baldur's Gate, we've got Mahadi Emporium Master. I'd actually not seen this card before, but it fits really, really well in this deck, especially addressing ramp for us. This is 1, a black and a red. For a cat devil, at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. So with him out and our commander out, we're going to at least make 1 because we're going to have to sacrifice those tokens. So very good. Here is maybe the biggest no-brainer to add, which is Mirkwood Bats. That comes to us from Lord of the Rings. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. This is going to be a great payoff for all the treasure generators that we're adding, but also our tokens as well. Then we've got Pitiless Plunderer. This is 3 and a black for a human pirate that says whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Not limited to 1 a turn. This guy's going to make us a bunch of treasure and help us ramp. Next, we have Teysa Karlov. This is 2 white-black for a human advisor that says if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers a second time. So that's going to be really, really good. Then creature tokens you control have Vigilance and Lifelink. So that's also really good to be able to get that Lifelink. So there are a few cards in here where we can pay a little bit of life to do some stuff, and this is going to help offset some of that and keep us around in the game a lot longer. We've added in a little bit more ramp in Professional Facebreaker. This is 2 and a red and is a human warrior, so warrior is good for us because our commander cares about warriors. Has Menace, and whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. And then you can sacrifice a treasure and exile the top card of your library, and you can play that card this turn. So it's going to give us a little bit of card advantage, and it's going to make us treasure tokens up to 3 a turn if we're attacking all 3 of our opponents and getting damage through. But it's also going to trigger cards like Mindblade Render. Mindblade Render is going to be a good one here too. Whenever your opponents are dealt combat damage, if any of that damage was dealt by a warrior, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So adding more synergy here with Professional Facebreaker. Moving on to Instants, we have added some good card draw here as well as sack outlets. So first we have Corrupted Conviction. This costs 1 black. It's going to let you draw 2 cards. In addition to the 1 black, you're going to sacrifice a creature. Again, we are already going to have plenty of fodder to sack. So this is going to be essentially pay 1 black mana, do the thing I already want to do, and then draw 2 cards. Really good. And then we also have Village Rites, which does exactly the same thing, just a different name, same cost, same everything. Then we've added in Generous Gift. This is going to destroy a target permanent, and its controller is going to make a 3/3 green elephant. Notably, this hits anything. Lands, enchantments, artifacts, planeswalkers, whatever, battles. It's going to get rid of anything that's really causing us a headache. And then we also added in Terminate. For black and a red, destroy a target creature. It cannot be regenerated. We've also added in Orzhov Signet. Again, we were a little low on ramp, so we went ahead and added an extra mana rock. That was what we cut Wayfarer's Bauble for. This is just a much better option. And then we've also got a little bit more card draw with Phyrexian Arena. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can draw a card and you lose a life, so we're going to get an extra card on our upkeep. 1 and 2 black for that. And then we have added in Shine Shadow Snarl. We had 37 lands to start out with, and we cut 2, and then we added this one back in, giving us 36. So that's a good number. That's a good third of the deck. As it enters, you can reveal a Plains or a Swamp card from your hand. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped. So this one can at least potentially come in untapped. And then our last ad is going to potentially be a game ender, which is Cathar's Crusade for 3 white. When a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So if we're getting towards the end of the game, we have several cards out that are going to be making tokens. Every time a token comes in, it's going to buff up our creatures. So we don't really care if we're sacrificing those tokens. We can swing out with them and then sack them, getting a bunch of damage in. But also, like, our commander is going to get buffs from this. All of our other cards, the Professional Facebreakers and all the Corpse Knights and the Cruel Celebrants and the Teysa Karlovs and the Welcoming Vampires, these are all going to get it, and those are all the permanents we want to stick around. So the ones we want to hang out are going to get bigger, which is going to help them withstand, things like lightning bolts and all that kind of stuff. So it helps give us the edge and helps us close out the games. Plus, we're going to be pinging our opponents here and there for these, sacrificing this token here, and each opponent's going to lose a life, and a creature enters over here, and each opponent's going to lose 1 life. So we're going to be draining the table slowly. So, we could potentially swing out with a bunch of big creatures at the end of the game, and then get everybody down to a close, 10, 5 health, 5 life, and then in response, and then after we've done combat, we just sack everything. As long as everybody's within striking distance, we can literally just sacrifice our whole board and kill the table. So that is kind of how this deck wants to play out. This one's going to be really fun, guys. I'm really excited about this. I hope you're excited about this. This set looks great. It's very Magic. It's very back to the roots. This set, Tarkir, is looking like it's going to be so much fun. I think all of the formats are going to benefit from this. So I hope you guys are getting excited about it. But anyway, that's going to do it here for us. Again, please like and subscribe. It helps us out so much. But also, we do giveaways on our other social medias. We do Twitter, we do Instagram, we do Blue Sky, we do all that good stuff. We've got a Patreon as well. So go check us out. Our link tree is in the description, so you can follow us some other places as well. I hope you guys have an awesome night or day, and we will talk to you in the next one. Don't forget to enter to win. Bye.